Hey everybody, welcome to Smashing Game Time. We are two brothers that go through gaming's back catalog of yesteryear. I am your host, Nick. I am joined, as always, by my brother, Josh.
Salutations, everyone.
Ooh, you changed it up. You usually don't change it. You usually do a shalom or a howdy how.
I don't know about the last one. The shalom sounds right.
I think
Oh, it's good morrow.
Oh,
I say good morrow.
so both of the things I said, it was neither of those.
No,
I'm sure in the history of the podcast you have done.
I've said shalom, and I know I've said good morrow.
You haven't done a Mr. Hanky howdy ho.
Hi, Maddie.
Wow, your mic did not pick yours up at all. It was like, nope, not doing it.
That's okay. That means I did it too well.
You did it too well. I've got South Park on the brain because I've been watching a lot of Despicable Me 3, and Trey Parker voices the villain in that, and you can hear it. You can hear it and he plays like this very cheesy 80s bad guy, but he's basically Randy Marsh.
I've never seen Despicable Me 3. Now I have to watch it just for that alone.
And like in the first 10 minutes of the movie, they blow their music budget on a bunch of 80s tracks, and it's an amazing time. The Minions kind of fuck off for most of Despicable Me 3, and it's kind of nice. It cuts back to them every once in a while, and you're like, oh yeah, the fucking Minions are here. Oh, they actually go to prison in this one, and that's pretty entertaining. But I prefer the Despicable Me stuff for the Gru stuff, and so I think that's why like 2 and 3 are probably my favorites, and 4 sucks. 4 sucks.
Are you ready for 5?
Well, 5's probably not going to be for a few years out. 4 just came out this year, Josh.
Well, I know, but think how quickly they turned around 4, and then what was the one that was like following Gru when he was like becoming a villain, like just becoming a villain?
That was
like
Minions Rise of Gru. That was from last year. That was when the
Yes.
Gentle Minions meme took off. And 4, when was 3? 3 was 2017 because I was living in Chicago. So they've started, and I think 2 was 2014. So it's every 3 years. So we're 3 years away from another Despicable Me 5.
Well,
From
unless
Despicable
they're
Me
doing
5 if they follow that pattern. Minion movies, I don't really care for them because they kind of get a little. They kind of dabble on the fantasy side. I know I sound so ridiculous about it. I don't know if I did say we're smashing game time. We're back from an impromptu hiatus from both of us getting sick. What's it been, 2 or 3 weeks now, Josh?
I think we're going on 3 weeks.
We had our triumphant return. We started to play some games, and then I got sick during the recording of our Chicory episode. I also just wasn't feeling the vibe of the episode. I was like, I don't know if this format works like long term.
Oh, hold on. I want everybody to know this before we go forward. It wasn't like we were 10 or 15 minutes into it. We had literally gotten to the very end of the episode, and then Nick goes, oh, yeah, I stopped recording, by the way.
Well, hold on. I was down with COVID the next day. Like, I felt like shit throughout that recording.
I'm just saying, though, we got through the whole, like, literally, we spent an hour and a half working up to it. We were literally, I just finished the meme. We were about to close out. Actually, we were closing out. And then he goes, yeah, I'm not feeling it. And I'm like, if we were 10 or 15 minutes into it, I'd be fine with it. But the fact that we waited to the very end to say that.
I was running on fumes, and I remember, so I fought the first boss in Chicory, and I was on autopilot. Like, I was doing good, and I killed it, I believe, either first or second try. But I was just like, when you're in the zone, and like then you look up and it's like 3 a.m. That's how my brain felt. In fact, I had one of those nights earlier this week. I was up playing Frostpunk 2 until 3 a.m. More on Frostpunk in a little bit, though. But we're back from hiatus. We want to get back to weekly. We took our proper hiatus back in July, and we've just been trying to get back into the swing of things. Here's the thing about habit, folks. When you get into habit, it's hard to break, but once you do break it, it's hard to unbreak it. Right, Josh?
Right, and I think between both of us not only being married to teachers, but you also being introduced to little kids and their shit.
Whoa. When you say introduce me to little kids, it sounds like
okay,
someone's taking...
So your children, when your children go to school or daycare and come back home after they've been around all these other shitty little kids with their germs and shit, we're not teachers. Our immune systems are not built up. Like, I don't know about you, Nick. Every time Andy has brought something home, I've gotten it, and I've gotten the worst of it.
I'm gonna knock on wood quietly here so it doesn't pick up on the recording, but I hope I don't catch lice. I'm surprised I haven't caught lice.
Oh, you don't even threaten me like that. I've had the stomach bug. I've gotten COVID. I mean, at this point, everything but lice. And if I swear to God, if I get it, I'm gonna lose my shit really quickly.
Well, you won't. You won't get it. You'll be fine. You guys.
No, my like Indy will bring a rat home or cockroaches or something.
You guys are gonna get swine flu.
Don't even joke like that. That's real.
I'm feeling better now, though. I do say that, and I have a tremendous headache right now, so I'm gonna power through for this episode. Because I almost bailed on this episode, and Josh was like, "Okay, I'll be downstairs." Like I was
Yeah, he's
feeling
like,
well.
well, he's like
putting my daughter down. For
oh
bed.
no, you didn't say you weren't feeling. You're like, oh yeah, Ruby's not down yet.
I didn't want to mention both things. If I mentioned both things, I think you would have been like, well, let's just push it. We would have kept doing this song and dance.
No,
like,
I would have been.
You would have stubbed your toe next week, and I would have been like, oh, Shug, take the week off. We can go back next week.
Oh, at that point, I'd just be like, dude, I think the podcast is dead. I can't even get Nick to dedicate himself. I literally every time we've canceled, I've only canceled twice. Once for actually being sick and just could not, like, I passed out when I got home, and the other time I think was because something had come up with family and I had to go take care of it.
Mm.
You and Jake were the ones who canceled all the time or pushed back. So I'm like, if Nick cancels again, this podcast is dead. It's a guarantee right now.
Well, first of all, I've been on every episode. I think you and I pretty much been on every episode. I'm
not saying I'm not saying
without me. So.
I'm not saying that you've bailed and we have to do recordings without you because you do the recordings. I'm saying when we plan to get together to do it, you'll go, oh, my tummy. My shitty eating habits are fucking catching up to me really quickly, Joshua.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
I've seen what you guys eat, and I'm like, how the fuck are they alive?
I will say there is part of me it's like, man, I hate recording on Tuesdays. I think I'm going to try and pitch you on...
You are the one who fucking moved it to Tuesdays. You sick son of a bitch.
I'm thinking about seeing if we can do Sundays or Mondays. But the thing I do like is, like, we record Tuesday nights, we come out Wednesday. I've got people I know that do podcasts. And, like, for example, this guy I know there's a screenwriting podcast, and he was interviewing someone. It's like, hey, if you have any questions, like, send them on in. And I sent one in, and this was back in July. And that episode just came out today. October 1st just came out today. So I know the fast turnaround was probably killing me, and now that I've had a few weeks off, I'm like, okay, we're good to go. Let's get this.
I said we need to at some point sit down and do a good handful of recordings. That way, if something were to come up, like you aren't feeling when you need the time, we've got something. And I know people are gonna hate hearing this, but it's like, hey guys, we have lives and we're cranking these out every fucking week. Well, like we need a little bit of a breather sometimes.
The other podcast I've been doing, we got 5 weeks ahead before we put an episode out,
which is smart.
And Saturday we were supposed to record, and I was laying in bed. I was like, hey, what if we didn't record? And Matt Fresh, who's been on the show, was like, yes. And
so he was feeling it too.
So, well, and I was doing another gaming podcast with him, and then we both weren't feeling it after 2 episodes, so we were like, and I think that in the last few weeks, I've become more responsible and been like, so I had a piece go through for Hard Times, and for those who don't know, I write for Hard Drive, which is the video game satire site, but it's the brother or sister site, whatever you want to call it, of Hard Times, which is like the punk rock / music satire site, and I finally got one to go through there. But I didn't realize it because the approval situation is different than Hard Drive. Hard Drive, if you get something approved, you're in a Slack and they ping you and like, hey, this is fucking good to go. Write it, motherfucker. And Hard Times actually like has enough people dedicated that they like have a meeting and they send a little document out that says what got accepted. And I didn't read that document, so then someone pinged me over the weekend and was like, hey, your article about Eminem, like, where is it? Or they were very nice. They weren't like, well, you're fucking around, what's going on? They're like, hey, can you write this? If not, we can write it and you can have your name on it. I was gonna write it, but then finally I was like, no, here, take it. You guys will do something amazing with this. Put my name on it, please. I want credit. Give me full credit.
I said, do you still get paid for it?
That's a good question. I know at Hard Drive, if you can't write it and someone else does, you still get paid for the headline.
I imagine not as much, but
think
still.
You still get the same amount.
Oh.
Yeah.
So literally, I could just come up with funny ass one-liner, two-liners, and I can make money. Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, but you're funnier if you do the whole thing.
Let's be honest. I'm an ideas guy. I can't write down the whole plot of a story, but I can get you good bones.
Now, well, see, all these industries have plenty of ideas, guys. What's needed is the guys to sit down and do the work. Do the work, Josh. And
It's just too much. I want instant gratification.
I know, me too. I pitched a piece that was ranking all 49 Plants vs. Zombies plants based on how likely my wife is to kill them because of the, wives with plants and everything.
Yeah, is that where the idea of the picture you sent me and Jake for our birthday came from? Because that was completely unexpected, and I'm pretty sure my boss, if she didn't see it, I'm sure I accidentally I didn't realize there's another picture before it, and when I swiped, I almost swiped to it. I was like, oh shit, no, we don't want to see that.
Wait, you saved it to your phone?
No, I was just in the messages because I was sharing another picture and I was showing them, and I saw it and I was like, oh fuck, go back, because today I was like, for those not aware, I had a wedding this weekend in Chicago. I'll make the story really quick. My brother-in-law says we're going to go to a speakeasy in one of the hotels down the street from us. So we go there. The doors open at 5, and as soon as the doors open up, we get in there. Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul were sitting there promoting their tequila. So not only did we get to see them and get starstruck, but they actually sat down with my brother-in-law and now sister-in-law and spoke with them for like a good 20 minutes. And they're like new best friends with them, basically.
They were just trying to sell them a bottle of tequila. They're not new best friends.
Bryan Cranston made me a drink, and he said, can you make this easier for me and just grab one? And I was like, I'll do you a favor. I'll grab 2.
But you're not friends with Bryan Cranston, Josh.
I didn't say I was. I said they are.
He's not going to let you call him dad, no matter how much you tell him that you watched Malcolm in the Middle growing up.
No, but I did tell him his wife was a bitch.
Oh, no. Skylar?
No. What's her name? Lois.
Don't say that.
I didn't actually say that. It's
just like that time you came and saw my improv show or my sketch.
I didn't say that. Okay,
No,
I didn't say shit, but no, I did not. Andy was there.
I'm talking at my show.
Oh, you want to talk about that? Go ahead.
At my show, so this is back in, was this 2019, 2018? I had a sketch show at Second City.
It was before we were married, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was before COVID. It had to be 2019. It had to be.
No, it's because we got married in 2018. It had to be before that.
Oh, okay. No, because you said you were gonna. No, you were married.
Oh, that's right. It was the year. It was the first year. The first year we were married. Okay,
so,
yeah. Sorry.
Josh and his lovely wife come up to visit us in Chicago. I have a sketch going on one of the side stages, one of the smaller stages. It wasn't this big thing. So like anytime you hear someone say, "Oh, I had a show at Second," they're fucking inflating it. It was a fucking small little stage that probably could the room could probably fit 30, 40 people. You tell them to calm the fuck down. But anyway, not to downplay their achievements. It's still awesome to do that, as I know. But still, some people like to use those words and try to float it. Just, do your research. Anyway, Josh watches the show. I'm in the show, so I can't sit there and, make sure he's behaving. But it's post show, and it was just you and Andy, right?
Yeah, just us two who came up. Yeah,
right. So Josh and Andy are there, and I have a few of my coworkers there that Josh had never met, and then all these people I was just in the show with, and we're talking. Hey, great show, Dad. Thanks. I was so nervous. And eventually, I'm like, so Josh is visiting, and I'm like, Josh, what are you? He wasn't staying with us. They were at a hotel, and I was like, Josh, what are you guys doing the rest of the time? And Josh turns to me without missing a beat and says, I'm going to fuck my wife. And everyone's just like...
And of course, everybody has to be a boner killer and just thinks like, oh my God, this guy's being serious. Like, no, I was doing it as a fucking joke and apparently didn't land.
Josh did the thing that unfunny people do is they go to a funny show and then he's like, I can do that. I can make a joke. That. But Josh's joke is immediately to go blue as soon as he can. Did you fuck your wife that night?
Honestly, I don't think that happened.
Yeah, because fucking
No,
made an
I
ass
think
of
because
yourself.
I think Lane said something to Andy, and Andy goes, "You think you're getting laid now? Fuck no."
I
And I
got
was
laid
blue
that
balling.
night. No, I don't remember. It's so far back. I'm old. I don't remember. But yeah, so when you say that you told Bryan Cranston that his wife Lois was a bitch, I'm like,
Didn't
yeah, because you kind of have Peter Griffin energy. Peter Griffin is mean asshole blue comedy energy.
but I didn't actually do it. So he did come up and hand us drinks. He was holding one of those like drink trays, and he's like, he actually did say like, "Can you make it easier for me? Can you grab one?" I did say, "You know what? I'm gonna do the favor. I'll grab two." But then after that, I didn't talk with him or Aaron Paul. They spoke with Andy's parents. They found out that Bryan Cranston and themselves and his wife basically are like married in the same year within a month of each other. And then literally they just sat down the whole time and spoke with them. Let me pull that picture up real quick so everybody can see. Um,
I just because they were on an episode of Always Sunny, like jokingly promoting tequila, and now that I realize that they was actually promoting tequila, that's really funny.
yeah, no, and I'll have to remember. I think it's like uh, broke. I have to pull up the name again because I forget. But yeah, they literally. I mean, they literally sat and I know it's not
We can't
focusing.
see shit on there,
Focus,
Josh.
focus. Why isn't it focusing? My face. Is that better?
Eh, it's a good picture. We can tell who it is.
Yeah, it's like they really sat down with them and like sat in that booth for like a good 20 minutes. They're cracking jokes and all that, and um, drinking a little bit. So it was really cool. They actually made both of the, or if not both of them, at least Izzy, my sister-in-law, um, signs some stuff basically like NDAs, I think.
Why?
I wasn't part of those conversations. I don't know, Nick. I was too starstruck and too like, if I go over there, I'm gonna say something that's gonna make myself look like an asshole or an ass, and I'd rather not.
Bryan Cranston's like, "What are you getting up to later, big fella?" And you're like, "Don't say fucking my wife." Fucking my wife.
Fucking your son.
Exactly. That's where Peter Griffin
Yes.
energy.
Exactly. So yeah, I kept the distance, and I just sat there and I was like, I'm gonna behave. I don't want to make myself. I'm already gonna be drunk the next day and make myself look like an asshole, which I did. But it's like I can't have 2 nights in a row. I can't embarrass the whole family. Let's chill out.
So wait, you embarrassed yourself at the wedding?
Well, yeah, Andy's pregnant, and that means I can get drunk. So, drunk Josh came out. Frank the Tank came out.
I want to get to the show, but what did you do? So embarrassed. Did you get? Are you in trouble? Did you get in trouble?
No. It was sappy Josh. So I was
Oh.
telling everybody that I'm proud of them and they're doing so great in life. I teared up a couple times during the speeches.
Did you give a speech?
No, thank God, no. I only had to show up and chug a couple drinks. Do you want to how much? Do you want to hear? Do you want to have me here list real quick what I drank that day?
Not really. No.
Oh, we're gonna do. It'll be really quick.
No. Okay.
6 Bud Selects, just standard can size, nothing fancy. 3 Fireball shots. I had 7 Old Fashions, 2 Manhattans, chug from start to finish, 2 High Noons, a margarita, and I'm pretty sure at one point somebody handed me a lemon drop shot, but I don't remember.
Jesus Christ! I was hoping you'd stop after the fireball, but it just kept going and going
Yep.
and going. And it's a wedding, I get it, but god damn, Josh.
And I didn't even puke the next day.
Yeah, because you fucking cried it all out like a bitch.
Hey, it's either you get really assholey Josh and he's like cruel, like you thought Josh saying he's gonna fuck his wife in front of your coworkers was bad. Cruel Josh is worse, or it was Josh was gonna cry because life's unfair.
All right, we're moving on. I'm glad we got to catch up, but Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. Stop at Fireball next time. Be done.
No, not even Fireball next time.
Smashing Game Time. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts. We're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube Podcast, YouTube proper, where you can see these wonderful, huge ass noggins that break their headphones. That's right. I just broke a pair of Beats headphones with my head. It's that fucking big. If you want to see how big, get on YouTube. As always, thank you to Alex Marvin Clark for our intro and outro song, Hunt Him Down. I'm doing this part up top because I don't think I give Alex Marvin Clark enough love. Thank you, Al. And then also, fuck the algorithm, tell a friend. We still don't fuck with the algorithm. We may have been gone for a little bit. We still don't fuck with it. So fuck the algorithm and anybody that fucks with the algorithm.
I feel like the algorithm's actually gotten worse. I don't know how often you get on YouTube, but half the shit that I normally watch is not even appearing on my algorithm.
Man, you know what? You know how bad the algorithm is? I saw it in photos at one of Diddy's parties. That's right.
Ooh.
It was at one of those freak offs. Be careful.
Wait, is it really the algorithm that bought all the baby oil?
Algorithm was the one being like, hey, you like this, you're gonna love this. But yeah, we don't fuck with the algorithm, so fuck off. I don't care what you got to say about the show or how many stars you want to give us. If you like what you're listening to, tell a friend. If you don't like what you're listening to, tell an enemy. Waste their time. That's what we're here for.
And maybe they'll like it, and then you can just know that like you hate them even more.
Maybe they'll like it. But hey, we got caught up. At the end of the show, we're going to talk about future of the website. We got bills due, Josh. We got to pay some bills. We're going to have to pay some bills to keep the website going, and also the podcast hosting site. We're going to have to talk bills off show. But for the show, we're going to talk about what we're doing with the website moving into the future. Josh's eyebrows have raised. That means he's serious.
Well, I've only raised because we've missed so much, and I'm like, is Nick really dedicated to all this? I don't want to waste money for a whole other year.
I'm here. We're doing this.
You honestly, I swear to God, if you're not, I will go to the near it. No, I'm not gonna go that far. We're good.
I killed my other gaming podcast. It was in its fucking crib, fucking goo goo gagaing, and I fucking threw a match in its fucking crib.
Sounds super easy, Nick. We're at the stage of life where we actually have to take our kids to the local lake and drown them.
Yeah. This podcast is old enough that you can't just leave it at the fire station. Like you have to.
No, but we can leave it in the car and just maybe crack a window.
Man, this is getting really morbid. Is it dad? Like I hear these stories now and I get really sad. I remember even before I was a dad, back in 2016, hearing about parents who lost a child in Disneyland because a crocodile got to it, and I was like, oh my God. And now that I'm a dad, anytime I look at one of my little babies, I'm like, I think about that story. It's always in the back of my head. So even I live nowhere near a body of fucking water, but in my mind I am constantly thinking about but there Nick, might be a crocodile roaming around here trying to get my kids.
Do you know what all those parents are talking about most of the time who lost children? You know what normally has like the common denominator with all that?
You're getting ready to say the most ignorant thing that's probably ever came out of your mouth, but let's hear it.
That they were shitty parents?
No, you know how often bad shit happens, just random shit happens.
No. Okay, let me rephrase that. I'm talking about the ones that that could be completely preventable.
Well, the crocodile parents, I always think
no, that one couldn't be prevented because that was they were with the kid when it happened, wasn't it? Weren't they?
They were with the kid, but also that one I remember when it was reported, and this could have been big Disney pushing a narrative, but they were in water that people weren't allowed in or allowed near. So that was always like that kind of looks bad on you guys, but also I don't know who's really. I'm listening to this report on ABC. ABC's owned by Disney.
No, I'm pretty sure it was that they were near the body of water, but they were still within the public area where like you could walk around and stuff. Like it was like the gator came through like the gated portion somehow.
We're totally speculating at this point, but I only bring it up just to say like I don't think there's any parent that isn't like got some kind of like crocodile story in the back of their head, even the ones that have had shit happen. Like those parents had a crocodile thing in their head where it was like, oh, I hope I don't leave the freezer open, and then Timmy gets locked in the freezer overnight and freezes to death. Like every parent has that concern.
Those don't happen anymore. They haven't happened since like the 70s.
Yeah, those deep freezers, you could get locked in those. My in-laws have like one of those old deep freezers, and anytime I go in it to get something out, I'm like, somebody could get locked in here. This is a heavy ass door. I'm struggling to get it open.
Yeah, well, if you struggle to get it open, you shouldn't go anywhere near
Okay, I don't know how we got on all these dead kids,
it.
but I'm
Well,
serious
I
about
didn't
the
say everything about
podcast,
dead kids. I
Josh.
was talking about
We're
you.
paying the goddamn internet bills. Stop,
That's fine, but the moment you quit, I'm having you reimburse at least half of it. I'm letting you know that right now.
motherfucking tax man over here. Before we get into the future of the site, let's talk what we've been playing. I only have one thing on here. When I start listing these games for what we've been playing, I'm gonna take a more focused, because I felt like I was like, I'm playing this, that, this, and that. This,
That's because you play like
this,
5 or 6
that.
games at a time.
I know, but I really want to hone in and have a good conversation and not try to rush through everything I'm playing, Mr. 3 games over here.
Nick, tell us about Frostpunk 2. How, like, you've obviously been playing it for a while now. You clearly are enjoying it, but tell us more about, like, what about it, other than the fact that you've been waiting for this game for years to come out. What has drawn you to continue to play this game?
Okay, so I got Frostpunk. I got it for review over at Game Chronicles. Actually, got it about 2 weeks ago, and then I got sick. So I had started Frostpunk, and then I had to take a break, about a week break after getting sick. And so this past week I've been spent playing it. If you're hearing this now on Wednesday when this comes out, the review's already out, so you can go read it over on Game Chronicles. Frostpunk 2 is very, very different from Frostpunk 1. The setting is the same. Your character from the first game, which is you. You're the I think the warden or the captain. You're the captain in the first game. It's been 30 years. The captain dies. You are now the steward, who is the new leader, and he is put in a council. So instead of you passing the laws by yourself, you now pass laws with the help of 100 council members who you have to wrangle their vote. Again, if you never played Frostpunk, Frostpunk 1 is a city builder survival game set in a frozen apocalyptic world where the world is frozen over, and your city is New London. It's centered around a generator. And in that first game, your city was basically built in a circular type modular setting. This game completely abandons that. So instead of building roads and then attaching your buildings to those roads, you are now defrosting the land and then building different districts on that land. And you're not stricken to roads. Like, all you have to do is find a patch of land you want to build on, defrost it, and build on it. And so let's say you're aware of these coal mines over here. You would build an extracting district over the coal mines, and that would extract in that district. You can build additions and equipment for those districts that you can research and upgrade. I'm having a good time with it. The biggest difference is the voting on stuff. So like I said, in the previous game, when you wanted to pass a law, you just passed a law. If you wanted to bring back child labor, you brought back child labor. You didn't have to ask anybody. You just did it. The citizens would come up to you and be like, hey, it'd be really cool if, we could have medicine. And you could be like, I promise I'll do medicine. Or you could be like, I ain't getting fucking medicine. Get the fuck out of my office. This game kind of does that as well, but this time it's broken into factions. So you have like just your normal New Londoners, like you just, hey guy, I'm just trying to live here, man. And then you have your wasteland or your Frostlanders, who are guys who come in later, and they're survivalists and they have these ideas. And then you'll have a different faction kind of based on how you played the first game. The saves don't connect as far as I know, but at the beginning, it's kind of like, if you didn't play Mass Effect 1 but then played Mass Effect 2, it would ask you other questions to set up the game. Mm-hmm. At the beginning of Frostpunk 2, they're like, answer this question, fascism or the religious route? And then that determines, I think, because you'll either get stalwarts who are kind of like these authoritarians, or you'll get these religious zealots or these religious nuts that try to get everyone to pray and listen to them. And so your council's made up of those factions, and like your factions, people in those factions will vote based on how they feel in the world. And it's really fascinating because you'll go in and be like, okay, the New Londoners don't want to build this steam engine because they think it's something of the past. If I go in and I promise them to research this thing they like, or if I promise them to let them pick the next law, then they'll vote my way and I can get the votes needed to pass this. And that's all cool. And then another thing I really like to do is like promise like, oh hey, you can have the next vote, and then get my thing passed, and then in the next vote, I get someone else, get another faction, be like, hey, fuck this law, we're not passing this fucking law. And you can toy with it that way, and like factions will start to get pissed. The stalwarts, who I really like, because they had the most at one point, I was like, okay, I need these people on my side. Sides start to get really chippy with you, and they're like, yeah, we're really good with the Stewart, and then they try and they try to go and do stuff behind your back, and you kind of have to shut them down. Like, they were passing out pamphlets to try and get more members, and I was like, whoa, 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 I no. And then if you piss off a faction long enough, they'll like break into smaller factions. So like I pissed off, I think the Frost Wastelanders at one point, and they broke off into Pilgrims to try and offset what I was helping the Stalwarts do. And it's really fucking cool. Stalwarts were also holding like parades and ceremonies that I could use to help raise money, or bring more people into the city, or bring more people into the workforce. And so just kind of it's a real give and pull of like taking advantage of the benefits of each faction, but also trying to, not get fucked by the one that's pissed at you. And someone's always pissed at you. There's always that one group that's like, hey, he's making us get vaccines. And I know that one's that one's a little heavy with everything that's going on in the world in the last few years. I'm in my review, I was like, maybe I shouldn't put the word vaccine in here. I don't want Google to be like, we can't.
We can't show this one.
This review isn't going to hit the SEO, my guy. I do think the game uses medicine or something, or they use checkups or something. So I'm being cute right now. But the game has like a 5-chapter story. It's not like all the story stuff's happening in game, so there's not like, oh, I want like these are the characters I know and love. But it does such a good job of sucking you in with the music. The weather is treacherous. The adventuring, so you know how in the first game you'd pull out into a bigger view of the map, and you could have send people to go try and find resources somewhere else. You can still do that, but it feels like there's more of that to do. So instead of like in the first game, you'd send them out, they'd come back, it would just be a little ticker waiting for them to get back. And they're back. They brought wood and automaton and all this stuff. Whereas in this one's like, oh, they got there. Okay, what's there? Oh, we can strip this ship for wood. Oh, hey, there's a settlement here where we can settle another city and spread out across the nation. Oh, hey, there's this thing over here that we can set. There's this compound here we can set people up at, or this compost, and we can create a route. So it's really cool in that form as well. I'm really enjoying it. The city building takes a little time to get used to it, especially if you spent a lot of time in the first one like I did. But that might be one of the better series in gaming right now. Frostpunk might be one of the best gaming series right now. Name another gaming series that's in a really good spot, Josh. You can't.
I mean, I guess I could technically throw in Warhammer, but
yeah, Space Marines was that Space Marine 2?
Yeah, Space Marine 2.
People love the shit out of that game right now. But yeah, I mean, sorry, I need a drink. I haven't talked about a game that much in weeks. But yeah, that Frostpunk 2 has been great. I'm going to play more of it even though I'm done with the review. And I'm going to take a break from reviews for a little bit. I'm going to enjoy my library, play some games that I want to write about for our site, because I need you to pay the bills. What have you been playing?
But keeping up with the first Ascendant grind, nothing really special there, everybody. I just get on my daily shit, do the season pass stuff, and it's basically Warframe now. It's Warframe. If you've played Warframe, you know what I'm talking about. I'm literally not trying to pay anything on there. I'm trying to earn it all by just putting in the amount of time in. And yeah, that's basically where I'm at with that. I'm not going to get more details with it. I will get into details with Hollow Knight and Remnant 2, though. But I'll start with Hollow Knight. So, made it a little bit further. I'm finally in the... oh, crap. What's the name? The kingdom. where
You'd
you
know better.
find.
You would know better than me. Everything about Hollow Knight from 3 years ago when we played is a blur.
Do you know the area where it's raining?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at.
Okay.
I think it's like the Kingdom of Tears or Kingdom of Rain or Kingdom of Blood. At this point I don't remember. Because I literally just got there. But prior to that, I also defeated the three mantis. The three mantis fight. Like you fight one, and then you fight two of them at once.
Were they No, they're not Mantis sisters. They're just Mantis.
Yeah, like they're the mantis royalty or something. Or basically, you defeat them, and once you do, that whole middle section, every single enemy basically respects you, and they won't fight you.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
So here we are. Hollow Knight's at this point? 7 years old?
At least, yeah.
What was it? It's either 2017 or 2018. I might be a little off. But and it came at a time where like I don't think Metroidvanias were as prominent as they are now. Is Hollow Knight that good of a Metroidvania?
It's a unique Metroidvania. I don't think it's the best per se, just because it is unique. It is doing its own thing.
What makes it unique? Is it the art style? Is it the difficulty?
I'd say it's the art style and difficulty. It's definitely for me the hardest Metroidvania game I have played to date. I shit you not, was Samus Returns, the remake.
That game was a pain in the ass.
Exactly. So, and I would say my close second is this. Not because, like, I'm good. You've seen me play Metroidvanias. I'm really like if I'm gonna sit there and claim that I'm good at any type of game, it's a Metroidvania.
You're good. You're good at getting lost and turning around when you have the right
exactly, or exploiting things and getting around ways you're not supposed to get through just yet. Which is why Super Metroid is one of my favorite games of all time.
He's good at backtracking. Is basically.
I'm very good at backtracking.
What he's saying.
I can read. I can read and I can hold the B button.
But can you mark on your map where that power up was? Not until Prince of Persia. No, sir.
Anyway, but yeah, I think Hollow Knight is good. I think that it's overhyped. I think people who are like screaming for Silksong to come out need to calm the fuck down. You're just as bad as. Remember how bad I got with Half-Life 3? How badly people wanted that.
I remember that, and then what was another one? People wanted Duke Nukem forever, and then they saw how that worked out.
Oh, and it was bad.
I'm trying to think.
They wanted another Mass Effect after Mass Effect 3.
Well, that was a shorter wait, but like Dead Island 2 was one that was like, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna? I feel like that one met the hype though. That was like
it did.
A good game, a good example.
But yeah, I understand that you want it, but appreciate what you have and deal with it. Like there are people who are still waiting for sequels for years. Like I don't, other than Half-Life 3, I don't think I can come up with a good example off the top of my head. But GTA 6.
I'm still waiting for Iron Harvest 2.
Nick, it's never gonna happen.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Lastly on my list, Remnant 2. I got the third and final DLC, The Dark Horizon.
I can't believe that game's already a year old.
I can't believe how quickly they pumped out the DLC either though. I sat there once I realized it was a year old. I was like, holy shit, they got all 3 DLCs out within a year, or most games are like, oh, we're gonna take 2 to 3 years to pump out all of our DLC.
The path of DLCs really did get long these last few generations. I know it used to be like, I know for a long time DLC were map packs and whatnot, so that shortened it up a little bit. But and then you would get like, for example, I'm thinking of like Gears of War 3 had the RAM DLC that came out towards the end of that life cycle. But yeah, it used to be you got DLC for like a year until the next game came out, and then
yeah.
But now I'm thinking of like Elden Ring. What was that? 2 years?
Easily 2 years.
Elden Ring was 22, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, what is going on? What is time?
But yeah, so like the fact that we got 3 DLCs within a span of a year is pretty fucking good. So I had to check. I can't talk about this because the embargo ended on the 24th. of September,
Oh,
so I'm good.
oh, you're good. Okay, I thought you were saying
Yeah.
you can't.
No,
Like,
I went to the site thinking Mark would have marked it, and it's not marked. And I was like, oh fuck. So I looked at his email, and it does say the embargo was the 24th, so I can talk about it.
Cool.
So for those unfamiliar with the DLC so far, the first DLC was more of a loosely adding on to the story based, focused around the villain of it. It was okay. The Forgotten Kingdom was the second DLC that focused mainly more on like content. I would say like more like enemies, more you know what I mean, like more of that stuff, more weapons, more cosmetics and stuff like that. With this one, they definitely hit a middle ground. They were definitely going for both. Story wise, it's a little on the like it doesn't make much, like the writing isn't really there. Basically you're in the it follows around like the Nerado. It's one of the worlds in the game. And it follows around like the AI that is like controlling that area. So that's like the whole premise of it, but they don't give you like the reason why you need to stop it, or like any like defining moments of like, hey, this is their defining moment of why they're the bad guy. They just kind of throw it at you like, yeah, that's the bad guy, that's it, just stop him.
Are you playing solo?
Yes.
The thing I find fascinating is, like, since we've been gone, Concord came out, Concord went away.
Yes.
They just announced an online Horizon game, an online live service Horizon game. All these multiplayer and live service games come out, and the thing now is a game will come out. Neckbeards will hop on Steam charts, be like, "There's only like 300 players," and I don't know Remnant 2's like path
Concurrent.
or like what it looked like or its concurrent players, but it's fascinating that the game came out and it just no one really said it. Like, it feels like it's one of those games where it doesn't really need like a bunch of people talking about it, because it's gonna have its audience and that audience is gonna stay. It doesn't need people to like blow it up to be this big thing. It just kind of just stays in the middle and stays there through its life
right
and then goes
now
away.
right now this is a Tuesday at 10 o'clock at night. For those who are curious, there's 9,000 players currently playing.
That's a respectable number.
Yeah.
I don't know why anyone needs to like hop on and be like, this is under 100,000. I'm not playing this trash.
No, like I've even been like, if there's even like a couple hundred, that's still a decent number, especially for an older game.
Yeah.
It's when you start to get into the teens. Like there's oh god, what game? I can't remember what game I was trying to play the other like a couple months back, and I was like, it's an older game. I think it was Resident Evil 5 actually. I was trying to play with Matt. I was like, okay, we're gonna knock out some achievements, and there was only 3 people playing, and 2 of them were me and Matt. So it's like, yeah, like
Sick.
shit like that. Like, yeah, good luck. If you find it, if you find a group that's still playing it, like, enjoy it. I mean, numbers don't matter.
And
Like,
yeah,
unless you're a new game and you're called Concord and you fail.
if you find yourself reading someone that talking about Steam charts besides us right now, run the other way. Other way.
They don't know what
shit?
the fuck they're talking about.
Play the game. Find the people you want to play it with. Speaking of, we've been as brothers. We've been talking about. Well, we need to find something to play together. Remnant 2 feels like a choice.
We got to find the time.
We do.
And we got to communicate. Yeah, there's a ton in the DLC that's like the areas you travel through are very beautiful, very vibrant colors. Like, it's not like like I'm not sure how far have you gotten in Remnant 2.
I played the tutorial with you.
Okay, so it's not like the dark gritty where everything is like a pale gray or brown color, and for those who at least made it to like the town or into the castle, it's not those dark colors. It's a Nick, what was that game that you played? It was kind of like a Metroidvania, but it had like the whole theme was colors.
Oh, 9 Years of Shadow.
Oh, okay, not that one. It's like you're in space and like everything looks all like neon and stuff. Ultros. It kind of reminds me of that. Actually, between that and Returnal, that's what the vibe it gives me.
Returnal looks like my shit.
Returnal's good. Like, I enjoyed it. But yeah,
I could see
that's.
myself playing more Remnant 2 here in the near future.
I mean, I definitely want to play more of it. Like they even had threw in a boss rush mode with this DLC. I tried it once.
Got your ass whooped.
Yeah, I definitely got my ass whooped. There's a lot to enjoy. I gotta finish my review with it and send it off to Mark, which I'm hoping to have done here the next couple days. But yeah, I definitely would love. I would love to create new characters and do the hardest difficulty with one life.
One life to the whole game.
Yeah, like once you die, your character's dead.
Oh yeah, I remember that was a big thing when it came out.
Yeah,
I don't did they do that in the original? I don't remember.
I don't remember honestly if they did or not. I'm sure they did though, because Returnal, fuck me. Remnant, I know, like people like didn't really talk about it, but it was like a huge in the community.
It hit off with because I used to listen to like Giant Bomb and everything, and it hit really big with a lot of those gaming podcasts back in the day.
Yeah, I just know a lot of like IGN and all them were like, "Oh, this game's okay."
We're both yawning. Wow, we are sleepy.
Yeah, sorry,
boys.
yeah.
Sorry, guys. We are not bored of you. We are sleepy. Yeah, that first Remnant, I also only played the tutorial of that, and that was a lot of fun.
We honestly, I'd be game even to start with Remnant 1 and work our way up, or if not starting with Remnant 2. I'd be either way. Like I would love that'd be a good one to do. And I don't know, not all 5 of us could play it, but it'd still be fun.
Yeah, we all hop in a Discord, and one of us would have to stream it to the other one's not playing, and yeah, that would. So I have I know it's a cardinal sin for you, but I have Remnant 1 on Epic and Remnant 2 on Steam.
I think we could actually. I think there's cross-platform with Remnant 1.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure.
Check it out. Let us know.
I'll double check.
Anything else on Remnant 2?
No. Hopefully have that review up here shortly. So look out for it. But yeah, if you haven't picked it up, it's only $10 too. The DLC.
Oh, that's not bad. It's not bad.
No, yeah.
DLC wise,
compared to dropping $50 or $60 for a map pack with Call of Duty.
Are they that expensive though?
Yeah, actually they are. I was fucking around, but I'm pretty sure they actually are that expensive.
It's all skins now, Joshua. Map packs.
Yeah, we want to be Nicki Minaj's, and we all want to be Homelanders. And
I would love to be both of those. Hey, you got news for us?
Read all about it. Latest football scores. Morning paper. Morning Star. Paper, mister?
It's time for old news.
First off, Fortnite is crossing over with Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Saw. This is a Game Rant article written by Luke Damon. I'm gonna call him Damon. Yeah, so obviously we're getting into our spooky season. Kind of unexpected, if we're gonna be honest, for Fortnite to pick up those franchises. I'm just gonna be blatantly honest. Like,
yes and no.
Obvious. I say that because, like, look at Dead by Daylight. They pulled Saw. I don't think they pulled Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. But they pulled the Saw universe into it, and it works because Dead by Daylight, it's a scary game, and you had these abilities and stuff. Where with Fortnite, it's like it's to me, and you're probably gonna hate me, and all the Fortniters are gonna hate me too. This is giving me multiverses vibes.
No, and I only say that because I already own the Michael Myers skin.
I forgot they already did that too.
Michael Myers was last year. I saw this news before we hopped on the show, and I sent the screenshot of Billy the puppet here, who is Jigsaw, and I said I want to play a game. I just hope. I mean, did you've seen a few of the Saw movies, right?
Oh yeah.
So Saw.
They've seen all but the last one.
Saw 3 has Tobin Bell. He's still alive, but it has a flashback of him in his younger years. And to make him young, all they did was turn his hat around and make him look down. And I found out how to do stickers on iPhone, and I made him a sticker, and I send it to people anytime I feel old now.
Hello, my fellow teenagers.
Give me young Tobin Bell. I want young Tobin Bell.
Oh God, I would 100. And he has to wear his iconic. He has to have like the gray suit, sweat jacket on,
Mm-hmm.
like you know what I mean, the sweatshirt jacket. And he's gonna have like the pale green shirt underneath.
And then give me Amanda from the second movie. She was in Becker.
As
I forget her name, but I remember having a crush on her between Becker and Saw 2 because I just remember like she had a really nice butt in Saw 2, and I remember as a young impressionable boy, I was like, that is a really nice behind. I wanna marry that lady.
never did.
Never, it never happened. It never happened.
He lost so many socks to that war, though.
Jesus Christ. The Leatherface looks kind of weird. I know you wanna have it true, but that doesn't look like skin. It look
No, that's why I said it looks very multiverses.
Yeah, the Leatherface. So this is Leatherface. Can we get a? Let me see if I can zoom in. No, they don't have the Leatherface down here, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm down for it. I'll probably buy the Billy skin if the money's right.
It's just obviously we got to talk about it. It's always interesting to see what characters they throw in next, and I'd love to see what they do for uh, the rest of the season rest of the year, because there's not much time left. And I swear to God, if we get a Santa Claus again, I'm gonna lose my shit.
I want Pumpkinhead. Remember Pumpkinhead?
Do you remember Pumpkinhead?
Scary as fuck. Give me some scary ass skins, Fortnite. What's next?
Moving down the list, everybody. Nintendo Switch emulator Ryujinx seemingly ceases development following pressure from Nintendo. This is an IGN article written by Alex Stedman. So coming off the heels of Yuzugen shutdown and Citra, Nintendo's still going down the chains of pain, as I call it right now. Basically saying, they're shutting down emulators. They want nothing to, they're tired of emulators. Even though their whole entire old the NES, Super Nintendo, N64, those are all emulations.
So there doesn't seem to be a monetary value on this. So Ryujinx, Ryujinx probably got like a cease and desist, and it was like, okay. And wasn't it Yuzu or someone? Here it is. Tropic Haze paid $2.4 million in damages in the settlement, and Yuzu was shut down entire. So yeah, the folks behind Yuzu paid Nintendo some money. This guy probably is starting to get cold feet. Anyone running a Nintendo emulator at this point is probably like, waiting for the knock on the door. Nintendo's very litigious right now between this and the PAL World copyright suit. Yeah, man, it's not a good time to be crossing the big N.
It's just okay, so I understand in the sense with Yuzu and the pirating of Tears of the Kingdom. Like it makes sense. Like, yes, you hurt Nintendo's wallet. But the fans aren't asking for much with a new device that does, a little more. Like if you're only able to play 30 frames per second on your device, even docked, but I can go to my PC on an emulated platform and get 60 frames per second. Obviously, my PC is more powerful. I get that. But the fans they're willing to pay the money. They're just, what's Nintendo doing that they're not wanting to push it out? Like, obviously, they want to get as much money out of it as possible. I know with the Wii U, they lost a lot of money.
But I'm going to push back on that a little bit. Yeah, the fans want a more powerful machine, but do they? Do they? Look at where Sony and Microsoft are right now. Nintendo at one point, right around the Wii, said like, hey, we're not going to chase the power. We're not going to chase frames. We're just going to put out games that people want to play. We don't care how many frames we give them. And I think they made the right choice, because now you look at Sony and Microsoft, who are chasing power, chasing frames, chasing like all this stuff in the name of like being like, they want their consoles to be PCs basically. And Nintendo's like, no. And people who, emulate want that. But that's not everyone. Like, that's like, remember MySpace? And everybody, after MySpace was gone, everyone was like, I just want the customization of MySpace. I want to have that freedom. But really, like, you and I might want it. A few other people might want it. But that doesn't mean that everybody, like, MySpace's biggest problem was assuming that everyone knew how to do all that shit to make your page look really cool. And anytime an emulator gets shut down, like people are like, "Oh, but everyone's losing access to these super powered versions of these games." And it's like, is everyone, or is it like a handful of folks that know how to deal with emulation and know how to work computers? Because I know people my age who like ask and myself included, ask like, "How do I do this on the computer?" that aren't going out there and getting this.
Right. So, but like, so like I said, in the sense of like we're talking about the Switch, yes, you're right. Not everybody's gonna want that. However, look at Citra, which did DS and 3DS, both dead consoles.
If you're coming from a preservation standpoint, I completely agree, because one day, not far from now, the last Nintendo 3DS is going to stop running, and we're not going to have a way to play any of those games. If you're coming from an emulation standpoint, I completely agree. It's when people start to say like, we want these games to be on powerful consoles. I'm like, do you have a PS5?
Like,
do you have an Xbox Series?
And see, that's where I'm like, okay, you make sense with that. But when it comes to the preservation, which I'm gonna go ahead and switch to the next article, because literally that's all that was saying is basically they're shutting down, or stopping development. But leads to the next case of Nintendo is going after YouTubers that show off emulated game footage.
Now this is fucked. I do agree this is fucked.
This is the Gamer article written by Joshua Robertson. It says it in the title, guys. I mean,
how is there a way they can prove it? I guess if like you're a YouTuber that has like the frames up on the left and Nintendo's like, that's not one of ours.
I guess yes, but you also got to think emulate. It's like, let's just talk about like a Super Nintendo, for example. There is no true way. There's no direct plug from the Super Nintendo into a PC, right? You're gonna have to get adapter upon adapter, and then you're gonna have to get a capture card, right?
Right.
A lot of these newer capture cards do things automatically for you. Some of them will automatically upscale graphics for you, so it looks better, it's crisper, and all that. They might even throw the frames per second if they're automatically for you. How, like you said, how is it possible for Nintendo to know, other than if you are using a particular software that is distinctly giving it away?
It's crazy, because I mean, this is an issue that you run into with people streaming games ahead of time, where I'm trying to think of a big one. Was it Square Enix that wanted people to stream a game but not past a certain point? It wouldn't allow you to. I don't fully remember, but
I think it was Final Fantasy 16, wasn't it?
I think 16 or 15. It might have been back when I was living in North Carolina still.
Okay, so 15.
But yeah, this is just crazy. They're going after people with emulated footage. Now, maybe, I don't know. I've read a little bit of this. Maybe some of these have like, hey, here's what I did to get this on my emulator. Like maybe these guys are not only streaming from an emulator, but are attached to the emulator, would be my thought.
So, okay, so like the example they use here, so the Retro Game Corpse, I actually use a lot of his videos. He's the guy who's taught me how to use a lot of the stuff on the Steam Deck, a lot of the emulation. He got hit with 2 copyright strikes. One of them being a showcasing of the emulation for a Wii U game. Once again, a dead console that's no longer in production, no longer making you a profit.
Still, though, he's like he's doing it out in the open.
But he even claims in his videos, yes, it's emulation. I do own the console. I've pulled all of my stuff from said console, and I do own the game. I did pull all this information from said disc of game I own. There's nothing illegal with that. That is stuff that you own. You are allowed to do with it as you see fit.
Yeah, but Nintendo, like, is he like pulling it and like, here's how I did it?
No, he's telling them that you can if you don't know how to pull the information from your for your games and for your console, just Google it.
It kind of reads like when Kotaku was telling people where they could get Metroid Dread, like where they could get copies of Metroid Dread online. That's
just
Kotaku getting mad they were in Nintendo jail. Like I'm not a Nintendo bootlicker. I am not. But I kind of can see some of their arguments.
So that's just it, though. Don't tell people where they can get this shit. Literally, Google, Bing, all of these search engines, they're fascinating. If you literally go in there and say, where do I get this? Where can I find this? This download, that. Somebody is either a different site's going to give you the answer, or you're going to find it 9 times out of 10. As Nick's taking off his clothes. Yeah, it bothers me so much that Nintendo is just like, you know what? We're going to fuck over everybody with emulations.
I'm just thinking of and again, they're Nintendo, so they can sue everyone to the moon. But, I mean, isn't Nintendo kind of getting... guys, I'm not licking any boots. I'm not a big Nintendo guy. I give two shits. But isn't Nintendo kind of getting fucked by the widespread emulation of their games? And I'm not speaking on the older stuff. I'm speaking on the current stuff. Like when the new Zelda is emulating before the game's even out. And I don't know if the new one, if that happened with the new one, but it happened with Tears of the Kingdom. So I imagine it happened with this one too.
Right. I'm not saying like, when it comes to that, I agree. They're getting fucked. They need to make their money. I get that. Wii U, be below all that. Consoles that are no longer in production. If you go anywhere and buy their games from a third-party company like GameStop or VStock or whatever you get your retro games from, they make no money from those sales anymore. None.
And again, I'm a big proponent on the emulation side, but also at the end of the day, these are private companies, and they're going to do with their property what they think needs to be done with their property. And if they don't like people running around willy-nilly on Discords and Patreons and YouTube channels doing this, like that's within their right to like shut it down.
Here's the way I see it, though. If you're going to tell me buying a digital copy of a game does not mean I actually own it, me going and pirating a game does not mean I'm stealing it.
No, and that goes back to the fallacy of like people thinking that a pirated game equals a lost sale, because that person who's pirating the game was never going to buy the game.
Right. But like it's the same argument. It's like, okay, if you are going to stop me from using products that I have purchased and I've done the legally means of it and tell me I cannot do what I can with it, you bet your ass I'm not going to waste my time and effort and money buying it. I'm just going to go ahead and fucking steal it.
But here's the thing. You've emulated, and I'm not trying to put you on blast here. You've emulated a Nintendo game, right?
Oh, I've emulated several.
Okay, careful there. There's legal pressures out there. Has Nintendo come for you yet?
No.
Okay, they came for.
But I'm also.
They came from.
But I'm also not making.
They came for this guy because he's making money on YouTube doing it. They came for was it Yuzu? They came for Yuzu because they were making money on Patreon doing it. If you're Joe Blow, if you're Josh Kaufman, if you're Nick Kaufman doing it, they're not, like, likelihood is they're probably not going to come. When you start getting eyeballs on YouTube, when you start getting Kotaku writing cute little articles about where people can get the game, and when you start making the money, that's when it's like, no, fuck you.
But so that's where I'm getting at for like this guy, for Retro Game Corps. He's not like giving information away. He owns all this stuff. Like, how is that pulling money away from Nintendo for an older console?
It's the fact that he's making people aware of the process, and then also in the process making money off of the old clips. Like, I guarantee if he wasn't making dick somewhere, they weren't going to hit him with this. It's just like Palworld. If Palworld had came out and it wasn't a phenomenon, there might be a smaller suit that nobody gives a shit about, but here we are.
Well, I hope I don't think it's Square. I don't remember who owns Dragon Quest. Whoever owns Dragon Quest, I hope to God they sue the shit out of Pokemon. You've seen that meme or those pictures, right? Yeah. I honestly, because that's the case. Like, and literally, I don't remember who I was listening to talk about. I think it was Thor. You know who I'm talking about?
No.
He used to work for Blizzard. He's a huge nerd programmer, but he actually did in-depth research, and he's like, one of the things that they're suing Power over is the mechanic of throwing something at a monster and catching them.
I do that all the time.
It's like, seriously, you're claiming that is your golden ticket. Like, okay, fuck off.
But again, Nintendo's
yeah.
not coming from me because I'm not making money throwing things at monsters. Again, guys, I am
Bootlicker.
No. I am pro preservation, anti fucking greedy motherfuckers, but I don't know. Maybe because I'm looking at this guy's face on the article here on the video. And I don't know. I don't like his cocky face. He kind of has cocky.
He's a very nice guy.
Is he a nice guy?
He is.
Well, if he was so nice, why is Nintendo suing him? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't need that beef. I'm just kidding.
All right, we're moving on. Lastly, Microsoft discontinues HoloLens for consumers, but remains committed to selling it to the military. This is a GameSpot article written by Eddie McCock. I'm gonna call him McCock. It sounds awesome.
It's Eddie McCooch.
I'm gonna call him McCock. Eddie McCock. Eddie McCock McCooks.
I don't know how the fuck you get cock out of that, but okay.
I don't know. Yeah, so Nick, do you remember the HoloLens?
Yeah, so they demoed it. I want to say it was E3 2015. And
correct.
The really cool thing I remember seeing from it was they were playing Minecraft, and like they had the thing in the center stage. I think it was Phil Spencer. Someone had the HoloLens on, and you could see him building it live on stage. You could see him moving in the world. It was kind of like AR. It was kind of like, instead of VR, it was AR.
Yeah.
And really cool looking. And, I don't think I've actually ever seen a HoloLens in the wild besides seeing videos of like how the military is optimizing the HoloLens.
Yeah, so a lot of it was you got to see military using it, and there was a couple of YouTubers who got a hold of it for demo purposes. Obviously, it never came to be. Like, it was just never going to happen. I think compared to even like Apple's the Holo is it not? No, what was the Apple one that just came out that failed completely?
Apple Glass.
Apple Glass.
Google Glass.
No.
I don't know. VR is stupid as fuck. The Apple one is stupid as fuck
but it failed.
Do you remember there was a popular video of someone getting out of a Cybertruck wearing one and like slamming the door and then like.
Yes.
It's fucking stupid. It's tech bros. It's tech bros who don't live in the same world as you and me, who think everybody wants to live on the internet when rather we would be outside away from screens. These are people that live in the biggest houses and are the most unhappiest people. And if anything, they're just a reminder that you don't need all that big fancy stuff they have to be happy. You just need not to be a greedy fucking crook. That said, I think Microsoft not doing a consumer-based HoloLens is smart, just based on how lukewarm the Apple Glass is, like you were saying, how lukewarm everyone is on VR. Only a time I ever hear anything positive about VR is if someone's talking about Half-Life Alyx or the first Astrobot game. Then that's it.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love my VR headset. Is it like life-changing? No, not by any means. Like you said, Half-Life Alyx, by far the best example of like, if you actually sat down and worked with what you had and put your heart into it, you're gonna get something great. Same thing with like some of the ports, like the Resident Evil 4 port of it. Obviously, it looks like it's just as bad as like, you know how Skyrim VR was, how it hurt your eyes. Resident Evil 4 is just like that. However, what they do something a little unique is it's almost the same as Phasmophobia. The one thing I enjoyed so much about the VR version over the standard version is I can have two items in both hands. I can have the knife in one hand, and I can have my shotgun or my pistol, whatever, in the other. I can be slicing and shooting at the same time. With Phasmophobia, I can have two items in my hand, two items in my pocket, rather than only being able to carry three items.
No idea how you did that with Phasmophobia. Like, I couldn't play it on my screen, so I can only imagine playing it in VR.
Dude, it was more scary than it was
I'm
eye soreness.
I might have to come over and try it
It
out.
is terrifying.
Jesus Christ. I do not like that. I had a bad experience in VR at your house when we were playing Beat Saber and I had to eat the pickled. Oh, what were they? Was it pickled
The pickle
radishes?
beets.
Pickled beets. They tasted like someone pulled them out of the fishbowl.
Yeah, they were gross.
I'm gagging just thinking about them. That's the news. Good
Yeah,
job
that
with
is
the
the
news,
news.
Josh. First time back, you did it. I love it.
I have a meme.
You do have a meme?
I do have a meme.
Me time.
All right, so we got Nintendo sitting at their monthly meeting. They need to find a way to make people stop using emulators for our games. We have three different ideas. We can get let's play of Nintendo's games. We can get let's plays of Nintendo games taken down on YouTube. We can sue Nintendo fans that upload ROMs to the interwebs. And my favorite, we can stop making consoles with underpowered hardware so it's hard to emulate. And Nintendo doesn't like that answer and it tosses him out the window.
Again, I support their underpowered hardware because I don't want to be thrown out the window. But also remember, I'm not a bootlicker.
That's what a bootlicker would say, Nick.
Spoken like a true bootlicker. So we don't have a real last segment. We just want to talk about what's coming up on the site. So we are going to get more active on the writing side. I'm currently working on a piece about how the PS5 and the Xbox Series consoles are basically this generation's GameCube. Just seeing a lot of similarities between the two. Nintendo, and you know, we all look back fondly on the GameCube and how cute it is with its little handle. But I mean, a lot of people like to shit on the GameCube for not having games at the time, which I always thought was the weirdest criticism that console got, because I was fucking drowning in games on that thing. But what you saw from the GameCube that I think you're starting to see from the PS5 and the Xbox right now is that the GameCube was actually trying out these new IP that no one had ever heard of. I mean, you got Pikmin and you got Animal Crossing were the big two. Metroid Prime was also a big one, a big jump.
Beautiful Joe was a huge one.
Beautiful Joe. And now you're seeing Nintendo's kind of reaping those benefits because they stuck with their old guns with the Zeldas and the Marios, of course. But now we're in the later years of the Switch, and like major releases like Animal Crossing and Pikmin 4 kind of have carried us along. And I think that's fascinating, just seeing Nintendo's continued support of its IP, as opposed to like now you look at Sony, who during the PlayStation 1 days, you know, they had Crash Bandicoot, they had Spyro from Naughty Dog and Insomniac. And then those IP, I don't know if Sony owned them at the time or if they were owned by Naughty Dog and Insomniac, but both were shipped off to Activision, and Activision kind of took over and made a multi-platformer. So you see through Sony's history, less there on the Xbox side, them not really taking care of like their generational things. Like there's no reason that Crash Bandicoot and Spyro couldn't have been like Sony staples, and now kind of like what Ratchet is. Ratchet is
Right.
the, hey, we have a new console, let's get Ratchet out. There's no reason we couldn't have had that with Crash Bandicoot or Spyro. Or, I mean, you just have to look back at the IP for Sony, PS2, PS3, PS4. Nothing's really made the jump. IP kind of sits on the console, and then maybe, I think the generation between PS2 and PS3 really, you got a little bit of overlap there, but then once you hit PS4, PS5, you don't see a lot of it. Only thing that really comes to mind, I guess you could count The Last of Us. It's jumped so many consoles now at this point. Uncharted kind of started that trend for them. Otherwise, I mean, Killzone. I think Killzone got a one PS4 game and has stopped. What was the Alien one that Insomniac did for a while? Resistance was PS3 and done. They might have done like some Vita stuff.
I thought didn't 3 get onto 4? No, I know because it ended on 3 because they started to utilize the PlayStation Move.
Well, and the PlayStation 3 games are hard to bring up, right? Like backwards compat wise because of the
Oh yeah,
the
because
chip
of
they
this.
used.
Yeah.
Less so on Xbox's side. Xbox was really good, at least in the 360 era, of continuing to support Halo, making Forza this mainstream thing, Fable as well. But then again, you get to Xbox One, and really the only ones that make the hop but kind of falter throughout the transition, the Halos, the Gears, and the Forzas. And you don't really see them try anything on the Xbox series or the Xbox One. So then you get to the Xbox series, and now you get to the Xbox series, and now you see them starting to experiment with Obsidian really being like their plaything, like they did Pentiment. They did Pentiment. Avowal looks like it's going to be very experimental for them. Hi-Fi Rush, that one really hurts. But you see, so just using those through lines for those two, the Xbox and the PlayStation's lifeline or lifetimes, you start to see like, oh, now that we're at PS5 and we're at the Xbox Series, we're realizing Sony and Microsoft have now learned the lesson that Nintendo learned at the GameCube, and that was that. Yeah, Zelda and Mario are fine because you kind of see Mario and Zelda get a little stagnant on the GameCube because people were very lukewarm to Wind Waker at the time, even though it's now like held to a higher caliber. And then I'd say Super Mario Sunshine's probably the lowest Super Mario on the rung. Yeah.
I mean, it's funny that you say that they're learning from what Nintendo learned with the GameCube. The GameCube was very much a experiment playground, I think, for a lot of companies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, think of all the weird shit we got with it. I mean, look at just like Square Enix, for example, with Crystal Chronicles.
Mm-hmm.
Super fucking weird. First time that you are in a multiplayer game that you can't just have 4 controllers to play. If you're going to play a multiplayer, you have to have 1 controller plugged in. Everybody else has to be connected with a Game Boy Advance and the connector.
Dumbest fucking thing I've ever.
Right, but it's like, why? Who thought that was a smart idea? Like, and obviously I know Square was like, okay, well, if we get everybody to get a Game Boy Advance, everybody will buy all of our remasters of the first 6 games from the Nintendo and Super Nintendo era. We can put them on there. It's like, oh, that's okay, maybe in that sense, but really, to play your game, your obscure game, and then on top of that, have it be okay. You have to make sure we don't have a split screen, or to make sure it's easily localized and running perfectly. You have to stay within this circle. You have to carry this pot the whole time.
That game was the weirdest Final Fantasy I've ever played. I think I was excited to play it, but then when I realized it wasn't turn-based, I was like, oh, no.
It's just, it wasn't that it was bad. It's just by yourself, it wasn't as fun. And when you want to play with friends, everybody had to have a Game Boy Advance. Everybody had to have the GameCube to Game Boy Advance connector. It's just very janky. And it's like, oh, okay, that just seems like a weird, really, really weird thing to do. Or if you look at Donkey Kong. They experimented so much with him on the GameCube. We had the Donkey Kong, the Congo game. Basically their Beats game. It's like super like, what the fuck were we thinking?
Donkey Konga, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you just had all these other games. They're just like, all these companies are like, let's experiment with it. Let's try it. Let's get really weird with it.
Yeah, I think Nintendo, like, people are always like, Nintendo got really experimental with the Wii. And I'm always of the mind, like, no, Nintendo got really experimental with the GameCube. Like, they were playing around with
Wii.
They were playing around with disc format. They were playing around with what they could get away with by implementing their Game Boy. Or they had the little Game Boy plug-in you could put in the bottom of it. There was a fucking handle on the thing, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, they're definitely all about portability and playability. But it was super fucking weird. Where with the Wii, I feel like that was like okay, guys, the GameCube was a success, but the problem now is that people play our games all the time. They've gotten fat. Let's see what we can do to make
I have a
I
speculation.
joke with that, but
How dare you, Josh? It's two fat podcasters. How dare you?
right.
I have speculation that Sony or Nintendo was approached by Samsung and other TV makers at the time, and they're like, "We're not selling enough TVs. What can you deliver to us that promises to break people's old TVs?" And Miyamoto was like,
We've got you.
Miyamoto, he already had it. He pulled the Wiimote out of his pocket. He's like, "This." And they're like, "How?" He's like,
Nick.
"You play." They're like, "But how?" And he's like, "They play tennis." And they're like, "All right, fucking, we're fuck, give him the money for the Wii. Give him the money.
I mean,
get this thing, get this thing into the factories. Let's go."
I mean, you're not wrong. Think about it. How many times did we toss those Wii remotes and hit something so hard, but come back and it works fine? Like the Wii remote worked fine.
They were built.
And that was without, like, I know everybody had them. Those like translucent
Those
rubbery
gels.
covers.
Those
Yes.
condoms, those Wii condoms.
Yes. Yeah, if you didn't have that, you weren't using it. Like you weren't using one. But even if when you weren't using those, I remember launching those fuckers into a TV. Thankfully, not breaking the TV, but the fact that you could hear the ting and go, "Oh fuck," but then go back and still continue to play.
Oh fuck!
Oh fuck! Oh shit!
Oh, shit.
I fucked up.
I broke the TV.
And then they also had the Wii, the little platform, the fitness board,
The Wii Fit.
which I have one of those still.
I think I have one laying around too. You can honestly go to Goodwill and they probably have like 10 in a corner somewhere.
Yeah, but it's like they were super fucking like they were like really into the like they were trying to get everybody into the daily calisthenics.
I was
I'm
here
not
for it. I thought that was one of the cool.
That was cool. No, and Wii Sports is by far one of the best game, like if not the number one game, top 5 game of the Wii.
I haven't played it in like a year, but the Wii Fit or the Switch fitness game, pretty good game.
I haven't tried the Switch's sports game.
It's like Sports Resort or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my piece that I am currently working on about the GameCube parallels to modern day consoles. The other piece I'm doing, I want to do a retro piece. The game is going to turn 20 here in a few months. I want to do a retro piece on Splinter Cell Chaos Theory.
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
I have it on Steam. I don't know how well it works on Steam. I've tried playing it on Steam Deck. It's kind of buggy. And that's just,
I imagine on Steam it's fine. It's probably just the Steam Deck.
Yeah, those old Ubisoft games run really funky. I've tried that one and I've tried Double Agents on the Steam Deck, and like it integrates the mouse pad into it somehow, and I'm like, no to all of this, no, please no. So those are the two pieces. I think the Splinter Cell one I've got a little more time on. The GameCube one I want to get out sometime in October. But I am gonna get some more time on the webpage, because when I was doing my weekly journals on the site earlier this year, that was the most fun I've had all year on the website. So
Yeah, and I think I'm still kind of twirling a couple ideas in my head. I think the one I want to bring up is the importance of physical media. I know we talked about it earlier with, like digital, with companies basically coming out saying like you don't own your shit when you buy it. It's like, no, that's not how that works. Like we're buying it. We should be able to access it whenever we want to. But we're getting into an age now where everything is coming digital, including video games, and they're pushing so hard to get rid of these little slits. They're working so hard to get rid of them. And it's like, no, because as soon as they do that, they're going to be in complete control.
One, I think a fascinating twist on that would be the exploration of how, the perils of the perils. I'm using perils like I just learned what it means or something. Like, when you first learn a word. No, but the plights of physical media and how it affects like a public library. Because, most libraries now have access to Hoopla. But even with things like Hoopla, they are very limited in what they can lend out. And, I mean, you just kind of start to lose that community aspect of a library.
Mm-hmm. No, like it. I will be devastated if my local library ever stopped giving out physical media. Like it. Where's my games?
They're like, Josh, we're sorry, all the games are digital now. And you're like, but
Well,
what
hey,
about
look,
and you're like, what about the physical media? And they're like,
I
well,
got both these bad boys at the library.
ooh, you
Doesn't cost
dog.
me a thing.
You're gonna be mad when they do it digitally, and you're like, what about the physical media? There's no physical media, and you're still surrounded by books. And they're like, but we have books, and you're like, what about the physical media?
If you're not wrong. Hey, checking these out is still helping my local library. Okay.
Yeah. Do you go in there and request things that they don't have?
Yeah, they use the once if they don't have it there, they have like another site. I forget what it's called, but it like basically reaches out to like the other branches that are not connected to them, but they're Missouri-based libraries, and they can have it shipped to that library. Then
Those boxes didn't have the name of your library on them, did they?
no.
Just want to make sure you didn't dox yourself.
Oh no. They don't keep. There's like they literally will pull these from all different locations.
Okay.
And just ship them over.
I just wanted to make sure. I just want because I was looking at them and I was like, oh, maybe the name of
No.
the library was up there.
No, it literally just has the video. It says video game, has the title of the game, the console, how many CDs it should have, the year it was released, and then it has like their code, like their not their barcode, but their library code.
I like to imagine you go into the library with your helmet on, or with a fedora on, and you're like, "Milady, I noticed you didn't have Kingdom Hearts 3251 Chain Memories, blah 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 blah. This is an atrocity. You need more weebs in the library, milady."
So no, I will admit that when I first started doing it, I felt very nervous because it's not like you go to like the shelf and pull it out. You actually have to go up to the counter and tell them like, "Hey, I've got a couple of games on hold." So I felt very much like no. I was like, open up my jacket, slide in a piece of paper. It says, "I have video games on hold. My name is Joshua Kaufman. Here's my ID."
You get up there and they're like, "Okay, we got your games," and you're like, "I'm gonna play them and then I'm gonna fuck my wife tonight, right?" You're like, "Sure you are, hun."
Sure.
Sure, hun.
This guy even bought a fake ring.
He bought a fake ring. He had Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. We knew he wasn't fucking anybody tonight.
But now I feel comfortable. I go up there. It's the old ladies. "Oh, how can I help you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've got 2 games: Star Ocean, Integrity and Faithlessness, and Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown on hold." Oh, he doesn't have a shirt on.
Oh my! It reminds me of a gentleman I met one time when my husband was away. Oh my goodness!
We used to play Tune in Tokyo. Yes. It's really not that bad though.
I had a vibrator called Kingdom Hearts once.
Oh God. Okay.
I called it my Keyblade.
And that just like that, Nick has destroyed the library system. Great job, Nick.
Yeah, I'll never tell you what book holds my secrets.
Let's lock it down. So yeah, where to find us?
Do you have another piece do you just have the one, or is there a second one you're thinking about?
You really got me distracted with the whole Kingdom Hearts shit. Yeah, the other one I was thinking about.
My Kingdom Hearts makes me all goofy on the inside and makes me
got me all hot and bothered. I gotta find me some Sora Rule 34s after this.
I've got some Plants vs Zombies Rule 34 for you.
Yeah, I know you do, you fucking asshole.
The fucking the research? It was research for a hard drive piece.
Sure, it was research.
And I was like, what is this? I was on Reddit. I type in Plants vs Zombies, and the first thing that pops up is the goddamn Rule 34 Reddit. And I knew the rule. I knew I shouldn't have clicked on it, but I clicked on it. Curiosity got the best of me, and there was a fucking pea shooter servicing a woman.
Woman zombie.
A woman zombie. Okay, I'm sorry. And man, fucking Rule 30 now play. I can't not see that.
Yeah, I can't undo that in my head. You've destroyed me.
It's a pea shooter and a pea sucker.
The other, God damn, the other,
If I can make that the title.
God, the other one I was thinking about, was just honestly just a love letter to the indie community the past 5-6 years. I mean, really, they've held the gaming community up to a higher standard than most of these AAA's. Just as an example, Ubisoft. I don't know if you saw what Ubisoft's comments about X Defiant and Outlaws.
It wasn't going well.
Well, not only wasn't going well, but they're like, yeah, it's gamers' fault, and it's like, no, that's not what happened here. You came out with two very shitty products, and you tried to just lay it out like it's our fault, because we didn't buy it. And it's like the reason we didn't buy it because you made janky ass games with issues.
Sir, it's not the gamers, it's you, sir. See,
Yes.
I blame gamers for a lot of things. That's the one thing. Gamers are broke, sir.
Right, and it's like, well, if you didn't do that shit, if you didn't pull the weird ass, oh god, Jesus,
Sleepy boy.
weird ass pre-orders where it's like, yeah, pre-order this game and you get it like 7 days early, but pay $100 and you only get extra cosmetics on top of it. Well, no.
Ubisoft started out with a promising year. Started out very promising at the beginning of the year with Prince of Persia. It was like, oh wow, they're okay, all right. And X Defiant wasn't getting terrible reviews.
Well, it was very mid. I'm like, okay, it's not terrible. Like they're trying to come up with their Call of Duty killer because Rainbow Six Siege is starting to go down the pooper because it honestly they're trying to make it a 10-year game and it probably should have died 3 years ago.
I think that game went out the door when everything started getting very sci-fi.
Yes.
Just people want normal fucking operators. People don't want that fucking anime ass shit.
Yeah, it's for Call of Duty fans.
That's just my thought. That's just my thought on it. I haven't played that game in years. Yeah, I like that. I like the sound of these pieces. We're going to hold each other accountable. Listeners, if you could hold us accountable by doxing us on the internet, you know Josh's address by now. I've been DMing it to all of you. But hey, that's the show. We made it. We got a show in. We're going to, and you know what? We started out the show with, guys, we're sorry. We've been we did the typical YouTube thing that I hate. So we're not going to.
Hey, we didn't put any ukuleles out and start singing.
Well, we didn't sexually assault anybody, so we don't need to pull out any ukuleles. So we're not going to. We're not going to pull out any ukuleles. Hey, we're not going to do that bullshit. It's like, we're sorry. We're going to post more off. No, we're back on schedule, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to happen. We're here.
Yep. And we're going to force each other to sit down at some point in the next couple weeks and get a couple extra fillers in so we're not missing content.
And we have to get Game of the Year in.
Well, let's get a couple of other shit going first.
But you know what else? You know what else we get to do that I just thought about?
That.
We get to do an Arcane Season 2 episode.
Hey, we do.
We could, you know what? They're splitting it up into 3 parts, so we could probably do 3 parts.
Okay, yeah. That'll
be fucking cool. That'll be fucking cool. But then also Game of the Year's coming up, so we got fucking shit. We're coming back, and we should do a dungeon. We've talked about it in the past. We just couldn't get everybody on. We should do a Dungeon and Dragon episode.
Let's do that. And let's see if we can't get a couple of our guest hosts back and have them contribute to Game of the Year too.
That'd be dope. Shinobi, Matt, Johnny, Katie, Dempsey. There's some other people I'm forgetting, but they're out there.
I can't tell anymore. Thank God.
JMO.
Oh fuck.
The JMO's sidekick. I'm sorry.
Come on, Nick. Come on.
Who else? There've been others. Maybe one of the game developers I interviewed in the past. Some more people from Hard Drive.
I honestly, I think we get them in when we see if we can't make this like the most epic. Like we'll come up with the categories, but let's just have people fill shit in. Like they pick like 3 choices for each category, and we'll see who gets the most wins.
I do like that. Josh. You don't often have good ideas. That's a good idea.
Hey, I've had my coffee today. I feel very proud of that.
Yeah, at 11 o'clock at night. It's kicking in at 11 o'clock at night.
Well, it's actually the Dr. Pepper. Zero sugar.
Oh, I'm surprised that's not a Oreo Coke that I've been seeing around.
I
Yeah,
look at that and I'm like, that fucking sounds disgusting. Like, who came up with that? Who hurt you?
Some disgusting fucker. And you know what? I'm glad we got back to the old format because we're both more active in the discussion instead of like me like
Being distracted.
Painting something like, oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, Josh, do that. Yeah.
Even like one of your French girls.
And that was one of my issues with that episode is like, the discussion's just not good because like there's one person actively not.
We would need to have another person here to make that a more viable thing. And it's not that it was a bad idea. It's just we had to try it, and
we needed to play Zombies Ate My Neighbors anyway that one time to get ready for.
Yeah, but then Nick makes fun of me because of my Sonic, and then he gets to get away with how shitty he was playing.
I played really well. Thank you very much.
You died to the boss, who was super easy.
Listen, everybody, I played really good. Some say the best.
He painted everything orange.
It's a tough painting game. It's tough.
He saw a rectum and he wanted to paint it blood.
We're ending the episode on that. Hey, everybody, Smashing Game Time is everywhere you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, Google. Not Google Podcasts anymore. YouTube Podcasts and YouTube proper. We're on YouTube video. Come see our lovely, round, big-headed faces. Thank you, as always, to Alex Marvin Clark for our intro and outro song, Hunt 'Em Down. We do have a website, smashinggametime.com. That is where you can find this video and an audio version of the podcast. And some written stuff. We're going to get our written stuff up, some of the stuff that we talked about. What else? Oh, yeah. That's it, right? Oh, yeah, Josh.
Where can they find you?
Josh, where can the people find you?
You can find me anywhere and everywhere, and I'm Josh Singh.
And you can find me on Twitter at That Kaufman. You can also find me on Twitch and YouTube at Nick Fat Night. Yeah, that's been the show, everyone. We finally got one in, and we are back. The boys are back in town. That's right. This has been Smashing Game Time. We hope you all had a smashing great time. We will see each and every one of you next time.